Switching layers on and off in an AutoCAD drawing has the same visual effect as freezing and thawing layers as we looked at previously. So for example, let me just check something out here. I've got some hatching here. It's actually on the layer 0, which is currently not frozen and is not off either. It's obviously displaying on the drawing. Now if we look at our layer pull down at the moment, you'll see there that our hatch layer has the little snowflake symbol, and you'll see that it's frozen. What happens if I try and place an object on a frozen layer? Well, let's click on it and see. If I select the hatch like so, click on the layer pull down, and then select the hatch layer like that, AutoCAD prompts me that the objects have been moved to a frozen or turned off layer. It can be either. So there's an object now that's been removed from the selection set, which is the hatch pattern, and it's gone now because it's on the hatch layer, which is currently frozen on the drawing. So if I bring that back, visually, if I thaw that out by clicking on the snowflake, turning it to a sun symbol, and clicking in the drawing, you'll see that all the hatch comes back on. Now let's switch off the hatch layer and see what happens. If I click on the down arrow here, there's the hatch layer again. It's the light bulb I click on this time to turn it off. The light bulb goes blue, indicating that the layer is off, i.e. the light bulb is off. And look, the visual effect is exactly the same. So what is the difference here? If you freeze or thaw a layer, what happens is the layer is not thought about when the drawing regenerates. AutoCAD will ignore it. If a layer is switched off and you regenerate a drawing though, that layer will still be included. So if you've got a drawing with lots of layers on it and it's very complicated and sometimes it's difficult to see because there's so many layers on the drawing, freeze the layers off that you don't need. They will then not be considered when the drawing is regenerated, thus speeding up opening time of the drawing. Let's have a look more at the on-off though. We've switched off the hatch. Let's also switch off some other layers. I'm going to switch off dimensions here. Let's also switch off the building line. And let's also switch off leaders as well here. If I click inside the drawing now, you'll see that the drawing is much clearer. There's a lot less information on there. Let's do one more layer, which is the furniture layer. I'll switch that off as well, like so. And click here. Look how clear that drawing is now. You'll also notice there, if I just want a building outline, I need to lose my equipment as well. So I click here on the layer pull down, click on the light bulb on the equipment layer, that turns off as well. And now all I've got is my structural information, my windows, my walls, and my doors. So I could now work on that quite happily. It's a much clearer drawing, and you can see that all those objects are switched off right now. If I go to the Layer Properties Manager, in a similar way to what we did with freezing and thawing now, I can right-click here in the Layer Properties Manager and select All. That will select all of my layers. If I click on one layer that has been switched off, it will switch that layer back on, plus all the other layers that were switched off come back on as well. So if I close the Layer Properties Manager now, you'll see that all of my layers are back, including my hatch that went onto the frozen hatch layer in the first instance. So you can see there how quickly and easily layer on-off works to clarify your drawing.